What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be taking out the Kinsei Blast Asics shoes for a run. I just got these today. These are $180 USD plus tax. Not a cheap shoe. The shoes that I used before were not these, but the same model, which is a Novablast. I've used tons of running shoes. I use Ultra Boost, Nikes, a bunch of different things, and my favorite shoes that I've ever owned were Novablast. So I decided to get these because they have the Novablast soles with gel mixed in. These are pretty heavy compared to these, so that's one thing people complain about. I'm gonna take them out for about a 2.5 mile run, and I'll let you guys know what I think of them. All right, so honestly, these shoes feel a little heavy, a little bit more bogged down, hot, a little bit hot. A little bit too much going on. I like a little bit more simple shoe, but this is my first time using them, so I kind of don't like the plate in the right foot too much. So these shoes feel a little heavy. I did pick up some Saucony's Speed 2s, like I think they're called Saucony. What are they called? I forgot what they're called, but they're like Saucony Speed 2s. So I picked up some of those for like long distance. These shoes feel fine. They kind of like sink into the ground a little bit and bounce back up. And they're kind of a little bit warm. And it feels thick around my foot, which I don't really like. I like more minimalistic shoes. So I can see these being for like 3-mile runs, not for like 5-mile runs, 6-mile runs. These are definitely not long distance shoes. They're good for like short, easy runs. Sheesh. All right, so after going for a 2.5 mile run, the first run with these, they're kind of wet inside. They have holes, you see the holes right there, but it's just not enough ventilation. I think the material is a little too thick. And I keep this in mind, I live in California, it's March, it's not even warm outside, it's kind of cold, it's like 65 degrees, 70 degrees. The sun's about to set and they're super wet inside. They do run kind of hot. That's one thing I don't like. Another thing is that when you're running, they kind of sink in a lot and they pop back up, sink in a lot, pop back up. So it's kind of feels weird. They're comfortable, you know, my body isn't aching too much. I'm not a big fan of these plates inside. I'm not a big fan of plastic plates in my shoes, like carbon fiber plates and all that stuff. So I'm not a big fan of this, the sensation of running on this after a while. It's not super uncomfortable, it doesn't hurt, but it's not the best. They are heavy, and since they have so much going on down here, you don't really feel the ground too much when you're running. You just kind of feel like, it's too much cushion to the point where you just don't feel the ground, you don't really feel anything. And it doesn't feel too good, you know. Sometimes less is more, and with these shoes, I truly believe that they're a little too much. You don't need this much cushion and all this stuff going on with it. And the weight and the thickness of the fly knit is a little bit too much for a daily runner, or at least a long distance runner. These are okay for like 2 to 3 miles. And I would say on a cold day or in the morning, like winter shoes, these would be great. Just for like, you know, when it's still cool and fresh outside, 7 o'clock in the morning or during winter. For spring and summer, they're definitely too hot and they're heavy. I think if I run in them a little bit more, I can give a better sense of how good they are, because this is my first run. They do remind me of the Novablast. They're surprisingly not as good as the Novablast ones. I haven't tried Novablast 2s, so I can't comment on that, but if you can get yourself a pair of Novablast 1s for like $80 instead of paying $180 for these, I think the Novablast 1 is a better shoe. and you don't really need all this stuff going on with it, and the weight and the heat from the Flyknit. I think you're better off just passing on these, unless you want to buy them just for the style to wear to walk in. For walking shoes, everyday shoes, these seem to be pretty good and comfortable. Like, I'd rather use these as walking everyday shoes than Novablast, but for running, I'd rather use Novablast. So yeah, I did order a pair of Saucony Endorphin Run 2s. They're coming in on Monday, so I will be reviewing those as well. And yeah, I don't really love these. I did mess up by running in them. I don't think I can return them anymore. But yeah, I would say skip them. Have a good day.